President Trump's taxes last week, every Democrat in the House Ways and Means Committee voted to release his personal tax returns for the past 6 years. Those records will be made public, they say, tomorrow. Joining us now, former Pennsylvania Senator and Newsmax contributor Rick Santorum. Rick, what's your take on this?
Purely punitive politics on the part of the Democrats. I don't understand what value releasing Trump's tax records are to the public, what value they had at all for the Congress to even request them. It was marginal at best. They simply are trying to, poke Donald Trump in the eye, get him riled up so he does, he goes after them and potentially try to get his base riled up so they support him. But look, Democrats believe that Trump is the best person for them to run against in 2024. Now, whether it's true or not is neither here nor there. That's what they believe. And so anything they can do to go after him and be mean to him, they think helps him win a Republican nomination. So I think that's what this is all about.
Rick, you ran for president in 2016. I believe you also were in the hunt in 2012. Did you release your taxes, and do you think they should be released as they should write a law, if you will, that every presidential candidate should release their tax returns?
Yeah, I don't think there should be a law. I think this is something that the public usually wants to know what a person running for the highest office of the land, where they make their money, who's near and dear to them from the standpoint of who's paid them money over the years. I released my tax returns in 2012 when I ran. I released them again in 2016. I very proudly say I was the least wealthiest person who ran for president in 2012, 2016. But I was running against Mitt Romney, and so his tax returns were a lot more important than mine. But I still think it's. Yeah. I still think it's important for people to know whose payroll were you on, who were you consulting for, whatever the case may be, what board were you on. And most people release that information through a financial disclosure, which you have to fill out. But it's still important for people to see, the hard facts that you report to the IRS.
Yeah, and I think that the problem that I have and a lot of Americans have with this is there's not a law that requires Mr. Trump to release those taxes, so they seem to be using a future law to require such to release his taxes now. And as you're pointing out, that's not what this is about. They're targeting Trump in other ways. So since Republicans are actually going to take control of the House next week, what do you expect to happen? I don't know whether this plays into poking them again and making them want to retaliate somehow. But what do you expect of the Republican House?
Yeah, I think, and your viewers understand this, that Republicans don't usually come to Washington with a long laundry list of things they want the government to do. I mean, this is really one of the biggest differences between the left and the right. People always talk, well, Republicans need to have a more dynamic agenda. Well, the whole point of being a conservative is not to have a big federal dynamic agenda. If the agenda is an agenda, it should be an agenda how to weaken the federal government, in the sense that not weaken it from the standpoint of your vis-a-vis your individual liberties, put more responsibility back to the states and local government. Try to reduce the tax burden, reduce the regulatory burden. Those are agenda items, but they're not sort of new programs and new ideas. Most of them are just trying to get the government back into balance so people can live their lives without having the federal government mandate everything to them. So I think you're going to see mostly from the Republicans blocking things that the Biden administration wants to do to accumulate more power in Washington. And number two, and you alluded to this, I think you're going to see a lot of investigations. You're going to see investigation, not just Hunter Biden, but I think the border is going to be a very, very important area of investigation, which is critically important to our country. Things like health issues like COVID and what happened there, and how we need to learn from that going forward. There are a lot of areas for the federal government to look at this administration, look at the poor policy choices, and highlight those and try to get some changes.
All right, Rick Santorum, former senator, thank you so much for joining us, Rick. Happy New Year to you.
Thanks, Tom. Happy New Year to you and everybody out there.
No crooked establishment.
None of that twisting the
truth.
No talking down to me.
Don't tell me how to think.
Don't tell me how to think.
Don't tell me how to think.
I trust Newsmax.
Newsmax.
They don't tell me how to think.
They
Let me decide.
Newsmax.
Real news
For real people.